Hi, I'm Vicki Apple, the administrator at Fantastic First, and welcome to Friday Fun Facts. I have a few announcements for you today, and of course, our devotional, and then a great interview with Cliff Longcoy. I know you're going to enjoy it, so hang on. So, for announcements, I want to share a couple things with you. You may or may not know that like a year ago, it's been a little over a year, we created this directory called Business Connections, and the purpose is to give the congregation contact information for people in the church who own businesses or are in business for themselves. And it is time to be updated. So if you are one of those business owners or otherwise provide services that you think that the congregation could benefit from, then please email me or call me or something. Get me your business card or an ad about the size of a business card. Actually, they're about half a page. So if you would get those to me by the end of the month, then we can get those updated for August. There's that. For those of you with little ones, I hope that by now you know that when you enter into the sanctuary, Janelle has clipboards there on the usher table in the back of the sanctuary. There are clipboards that have crayons and a child's bulletin for the day. And you take a clean one off the top of the table, and then when you leave, take the crayons with you and drop the clipboard in the bucket that's under the usher table for the dirty ones, and she'll sanitize those and put in a new slip for the next week. So that's a little fun thing happening. Movie night is next Friday. That'll be July 31st, a week from today. And the movie night will be a little hybrid of what we did previously and what we did last month. So there'll be picnic type gathering at 5:30. Yes, at 5:30, and that'll be outside, and we'll not be sharing food, so bring your own family picnic for that. And then at 7 o'clock we'll start the movie inside. So that way the outside movie was really fun, but it's very dark, very late. And so this starting at 7 o'clock gets the kids home and back in bed by a decent hour. So the movie for this month is Toy Story 4, which is a fun Pixar movie that the whole family will love. So come on out for that next Friday. Pastor Chris has started doing the meet and greets that he's announced. And if you haven't signed up yet, go to the website. At the top of the page, there's a banner that welcomes the new pastor. Click on that, and then you'll go to a page where there's a button that says book appointment, and you can set up a 30-minute time slot at your convenience. You can meet with him in person here at church, or you can sign up for a video chat. It's called Teleport, and it's all done through the booking program. It's very easy to use. If you want to test the technology first, set up an appointment with me for a 10-minute test of the software, and I'll walk you through that. And the appointments with Pastor Chris are 30 minutes, and there you choose a time that's any of the points on the clock. It says something about 5-minute increments, but the meeting itself will be 30, but it can start at any 5-minute time. So go ahead and get signed up for those. He's only going to do that for until September. So let's get those all done in August, and everybody can get to know him and he can get to know you a little better. He did ask for you to consider 3 questions for the meet and greet, and they're listed there for you where you sign up. But it's how long have you been in the church? What do you like about the church? And what ministries or classes are you involved in? So that takes care of our announcements. So let's look at the devotional. I chose today a devotional from Joyce Meyer, and it says, be consistently confident. So lots of people can benefit from these thoughts. Confidence is rooted in faith in God. This is why it's so important that we choose to be consistently confident, not occasionally confident. She writes, I had to learn to remain confident when I was told by friends and family that a woman should not be teaching the Bible. I knew God had called me to teach his word, but I was still affected by the rejection of people. I had to grow in confidence to the point where others' opinions and their acceptance or rejection didn't shake my confidence level. My confidence had to be in God, not in people. Romans 1:17 tells us that we can go from faith to faith. I spent many years going from faith to doubt to unbelief and then back to faith. Then I realized that when I lose my confidence, I leave a door open for the enemy to work in my life. If I allow him to steal my confidence, I suddenly have no faith to minister to people. If you want to succeed, choose to be consistently confident. Be confident about your gifts and your calling, your abilities in Christ. Believe you hear from God and that you are led by the Holy Spirit. See yourself as a winner in him. When you focus on his great love for you, you'll have boldness to do great things. And her prayer is, Father, please help me to see myself the way you do, so my confidence won't be shaken by people's opinions. Thank you for loving me, leading me, and strengthening me today. In Jesus' name, amen. That was beautiful. And I know lots of people suffer from lack of confidence and can be too concerned about what other people think about them. And we don't need to be negative people in any regard. And I think that this was a very good word for us today, to be consistently confident in who we are, because we are a child of God. You are a child of God. So I'm going to go ahead and start Cliff's interview now, and I know you are going to love it. When we wrap up the interview, I'm going to come back and show you some of his devotional that's on our webpage. All right, enjoy. Hi, Cliff. Thanks for being with us today on Fun Friday.
Hi there. Thanks for inviting me.
Certainly. It was actually Pastor Chris's idea. He was like, "Have you done Chris yet? Cliff yet?" and I said, "No, I haven't." So he was ready for me to be done with his.
Oh, I see. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So I know a few things about you that maybe others in the church haven't had a chance to get to know yet. So I'm just going to ask you some things that maybe I already know the answer to. But let's start with, where did you grow up? And tell us about your family.
Actually, I grew up in Brooksville. I was the last baby born in Brooksville Regional Hospital.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, 87. But I was born there. I grew up for a little bit, maybe about 8 or so, and then I moved to Spring Hill, and then back to Brooksville. That's about the 2 places I kept going back and forth to.
Okay.
But no, that's my whole life is up there. More country, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of country up there.
Yeah.
But and then from there I moved to Tampa for college. So
USF. Go
yeah.
Bulls.
Yeah, go Bulls.
Go Bulls. And what's your brother up to these days? I don't even remember his name. I'm sorry.
His name's Josh.
Joshua, that's right.
Joshua Longcoy. And, he just got his doctorate degree.
Oh, good for him.
Just a few months ago.
If you're watching, Josh, congratulations.
And he just got a full-time, really nice job at Rush University in Chicago.
Oh, no.
Yeah, oh no. That's what happens.
Oh.
reacting that way. Oh no.
Well,
It's
it's
good
so
that he got
far
his job.
away.
Yeah.
It's great to get a good job, but it's so far away.
Because of the pandemic and everything, they're getting hit pretty hard with the writing.
Yeah.
And so he's very happy to start. He started back in, I think it was March, right when all this started with the pandemic. And he enjoys Chicago, but it's just a rough place to live right now. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Well, my Chris always liked Chicago area too, and liked the seasons and all of that. So
It's very pretty.
I'm sure he'll be real happy up there, and if not, he knows where home is.
Yeah.
So, how old were you when you started piano lessons?
I was about actual formal lessons, probably like 6 or 7. You know,
But you played before that?
yeah, I played church a little bit. My father played the organ,
Oh,
so he taught me chords.
Okay.
You know, and actually my notes.
uh-huh,
The actual formal lessons 6 or 7.
okay.
Um,
And did you enjoy it from the beginning, or did they have to make
No.
you do it?
no, I actually really didn't like it. It was like another chore for me. And
Right.
like when you're a kid, you want to play outside
Right,
with your friends. But with me, as soon as I get done with school, it's piano practice
Right.
every day.
right,
And it wasn't probably until about 14 or so where I started enjoying it. And but I think the better you get, the more fun it is too. If you're
right,
too,
no doubt.
at the beginning, when you're trying to figure out the notes and you don't sound that great, you spend hours of practice and it still doesn't sound good. It's not nearly as fun. But around 14 or so, I think I just started getting more. I got better, so I was having more fun playing for people, playing places, churches, and enjoying myself more.
Okay. And when did you start competing?
Competing was about 14. I think it was my first competition. It was a Christian one at Lee University.
Hmm.
It's a Church of God. Teen Talent, I think it's called Teen Talent.
Okay.
And I think got second place for that one.
Oh, wow.
But I made a statement with a Christian piece. So that was the big news of that. It wasn't classical.
Oh, okay.
And I ended up losing mainly because it was my arrangement versus Beethoven. So that wasn't, it stirred up a lot of, controversy with that.
Okay.
But no, I think it was my first exposure to competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you ever played any other instruments?
I did try trumpet for 3 months, and then I struggled with that because it just doesn't fit my personality.
Okay.
A lot of trumpeters are a little more louder than pianists. So pianists tend to be more reserved and quiet. So I
Okay.
think I clinged more to that.
All
But
right.
actually, the first instrument I played, in front of people was the drums.
Oh,
I played for church for about a year or so, something like that. And I played drums and I enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun. It's always fun when you're young. I think I was 12 when I started playing for church. But the drums are pretty fun because you're banging,
right,
at the beginning versus piano.
right, right.
But
Where you're not allowed to bang.
yeah, no.
So, thinking about all of the many world of composers and music genre, and even specific pieces that you've studied and played over the
Yeah.
years, which is the hardest to play? Like when you hear either the song name or the something that you just go, oh man, that one's going to be a real challenge.
There's 2 composers they're famous for it. Their names are Alkan and Godowski. Alkan and Godowski. And they actually made transcriptions off of Chopin and Beethoven.
Okay,
So like Chopin's already hard enough,
okay.
but these guys made his piece even more difficult.
Mm,
So they're famous for just being insanely hard.
Okay.
It takes 6 months to learn 2 minutes of music, and it's not quite worth it, to the point
right,
to actually practice that long for just 2 minutes.
right,
But those are competition pieces too, so
Right.
you only learn for competitions
okay,
mostly.
okay.
But those kind of scare me. I think. I think that as far as contemporary pieces, where it sounds just by sound, it sounds more random. It doesn't have a continuous line all the time. Those are a bit more scary to play too.
Okay.
Sounds like horror music sometimes. You ever watch a horror film? It sounds just like that kind of music.
Say, oh, I've done that. I know how to make that sound. So what's the most fun to play?
I've always enjoyed more romantic music from romantic era.
Right,
So the 1800s or so, 1810 to about 1900, and it's the time when you actually started adding more emotion into music. Back with Baroque is more linear, is more perfect, and classical is just as fast as you can with as many notes as possible. But Romantics, when you hear me play, add the big crescendos and the big climaxes, things like that, or the very soft, intimate playing. That's all romantic.
Okay.
So that was my specialty, and I really enjoyed it. Like Chopin and Liszt,
Mhm.
and even when I sit down and play at home or improv, usually it's more romantic style,
Okay.
emotional.
That was another question I had is what do you play when it's just for you? When you just are like, I'm going to go play my piano. And-
Yeah. Well, what's nice is, and it should be the goal for all musicians, is to be able to express yourself in your instrument. Be good enough to have just have the technique readily available to you. Or if you were angry at the moment, you can just play something angrily, something fast, something hard, something rash, and then. But if you're still kind of depressed or down, you can play something very solemn and very simple.
Okay.
You know? And so I wouldn't say I have a particular piece I play or style I play. I think it's more of whatever's in the mood.
Okay.
I think generally overall more of I'm quiet on the outside, the inside I'm pretty happy. So when I sit at home and play, usually it's goofy stuff.
Oh.
It's happy, light-hearted, and fun, you know.
Well, maybe I'd like to hear a little happy, fun, goofy music.
Happy music?
Yeah, you want to play a little happy, a little something, a little ditty? Something you would consider
Fast.
goofy. Yeah. Yes, I feel it. I definitely feel
Just
it.
like light.
Yep. So if I know you've done some arranging. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've done a lot of composing. Have you yourself done much?
Yeah, I've composed. I don't actually write it down too much. I had a problem with one of my arrangements I actually wrote, and someone actually ended up taking it, the arrangement, so that kind of hurt me.
Sure it would.
So right now I have a ton. I have, probably a good 20 or 30 in my head. So they're just good enough where I could go over them a few times and I can play for people if I need to.
Okay.
More hymns or so, like big arrangements.
Right.
But I don't actually write them down just in case.
Right,
Maybe
right.
for when I get older.
Well, I have considered if for Friday Fun Facts, if we need a little musical intro at the beginning of my videos.
Yeah.
So maybe if you think of something one day and you
Yeah, we
go,
can do
oh, this
that.
would be great, and then just
Definitely,
know.
definitely we can do that.
I'll have
Jingle.
a Cliff Longcoy original. That would be super cool. So what is the most requested piece that people ask you for?
Believe it or not, it's Titanic.
Oh, no kidding.
Never
My Heart
guessed.
Will Go On or
Yeah,
something
my heart,
like
yeah,
that. Mhm.
yeah. And it always bothered me because I could play, amazing piece. It'd take me 6 months to learn. And then usually at the end, if I take requests in a concert, one of the requests is always, My Heart Will Go On, which is something I just improv, so I don't even have to practice. So that always bothered me, got to me.
So away from piano or not, if you want to include piano music, what do you listen to? Not to learn and really just to
Yeah.
listen to music.
Like I'd probably say, probably more classical, I think. Just for normal days, just classical. When I'm exercising.
Orchestra or concerto or
More piano.
piano.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then when I'm actually, doing something more aggressive, working out or doing something, I'll put more upbeat music. I know since I've been with Grace, I just try to listen to K-pop.
Okay.
You know what that is?
I do.
K-pop. It's a lot. It's pretty loud. It's upbeat.
Uh-huh.
It's cool, I guess.
Uh-huh.
So I listen to that sometimes just for background atmosphere. But I believe music changes the mood a lot. So depending on my mood or depending on what I'm trying to get out of or when I have people over, I try to listen to something to enhance the environment.
Right.
But probably one of the biggest is probably Irish music, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, Celtic kind of fast-paced fiddling. Yeah.
So you've traveled a lot when you were competing all
Yeah.
across Europe and Asia too,
Asia,
maybe?
yeah.
Do you have a favorite city that you hope to go back to sometime?
I think as far as, well, I guess I'd have two. I think as far as just sheer fun would have to be Tokyo,
Oh.
Kyoto, and Japan. It's a lot of fun, but it's very, when I was 18, when I first went there, I toured for 3 weeks, Japan. So I went to all these large cities. And these cities are huge. They're like 3 times the size of New York City. They're huge.
Wow.
But, so I thought that was awesome back when I was 18. But as I got older, I think I've slowed down and that doesn't really get to me as much. The
Okay.
lights, and I like sleepy and I like relaxing. So I've kind of shifted more towards Norway, Bergen, Norway.
Oh, okay.
And that's where my agent was. So I went there quite a bit, once or twice a year. And it's more solemn. It kind of reminds me of like Tennessee on steroids.
Okay.
Mountains.
Okay.
Smoky
Okay.
Mountains of Tennessee.
Right.
The fjords, and but everything's green. It's more simple. The countryside in Norway, I think. But I enjoy that. Or even Germany, the forests,
Right.
places like that.
Right.
I never. Everyone likes Paris, but I think it's one of my least favorite places I've been to. Paris. Have you ever been?
No.
Ever heard of it? It was a little bit dirtier, but it's very stereotypical. Like they they weren't very nice to me. You know, you ask for directions or so, they don't
No
speak
time.
in your
No
language.
time for the
English.
Americans.
Yeah, and that surprised me.
Yeah.
It's just like the movies. You know?
What about concert halls? Did you have a favorite?
Probably the same. The one in Bergen.
Okay.
The Greek Hall. I enjoyed it, but I think I feel more comfortable there. You know, I've actually played. I told Pastor Chris this. I played at King George's Hall in England. You know? But ironically, like I had fun playing there, but I got a bad review. It's like, you know, and it came out in the newspaper too.
Oh.
And classical music or music in general is very subjective.
Right.
So I think that really got to me because I thought I played well, and then it comes out in the newspaper next day that I didn't play so well.
That
Americans.
particular person didn't
Yeah,
have
so
anything
that got
nice
to me.
to
So
say.
because of that, I think I associate England as not the
Right.
best place to play.
Okay.
But sorry, Pastor Chris.
Well, maybe he needs to get you at a concert hall in his Leicester city, and maybe
He has
they're
the
more
connections,
friendly there.
maybe.
Yeah.
They'd be open if he had them.
Yeah. So how have you personally dealt with COVID and the lockdown and all of that? Where's your head?
Well, it's interesting. I think I try to take advantage of the time. I think because it doesn't happen very often. Where I just got married a year and a half ago, and it's almost like I'm retired now. Like I'm actually sitting at home the whole day, so I get to spend good quality time with Grace, my wife.
Right.
And so I want to take advantage of that time, get to know her a lot, and we talk a lot, we do things, we goof off a lot at home, and that was more towards the beginning. And I think as time went on, we had to do something. So then we picked up more music and a ton of reading, every week, try to get a book in a week. But I wanted to take advantage of the time we had and try to build towards a better future, and just learn.
Right.
I think.
What do you read?
More educational books, business or theology or psychology, and try to make sense of our reality. All
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah. The
But definitely
chaos.
just taking advantage of the time. I think.
Yep. Well, I know that people miss Grace too.
Yeah.
How is she doing? And is she still teaching or going to go back to teaching, or where is
she
she?
may go back to teaching for a little bit. Nothing full time or anything.
Okay.
But it just depends on the COVID. I know
Right.
she enjoys being home.
Okay.
And things will change later if we have kids. I know a lot of people are excited
Right.
if we have kids.
Right.
So I'll have to see with that because we're getting older.
Time's ticking.
Yeah, I know. Her parents and my grandparents keep saying the same thing every time we see them. So as kids, anything you want to tell us?
Do Koreans generally have large families?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They're very family oriented more.
Right.
They all live next to each other, and so I'm not used to it.
Right.
I know there's that chance. If we have kids, they're going to be here. Her parents will be here.
Yeah, but it's all good.
Yeah, it will be.
Kids will open up a part of your heart that you
Yeah.
didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll just
Yeah.
it'll be a good day when it comes.
We're excited.
When it comes.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so your ministry plans for choir and orchestra and all of that, I know
Yeah.
COVID has a lot of unknown with it, but what kind of ideas are you
Yeah.
playing with?
As far as planning, I'm thinking of starting everything up like normal in August, but just more precautions, of course. So we're socially distancing on stage, and we have a pretty full group, possibly bigger than ever, which is awesome. So we're gonna have to plan that out, but it can be stressful, but I think it's necessary, to actually social distance and always be on
Oh,
your mind.
absolutely.
Yeah, always be on your mind to make people feel comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and that way we can stay relaxed and still be able to worship.
Mm-hmm.
But my plan is more of going back to the drawing board and putting more God into what we have, and having Him more of the focus. Not so much the music, performing, or the tech team, doing technology or anything new or innovative. I think now it's just get the basics down, and then from there build on. And I'm hoping maybe at least by Christmas to be right where we need to be or should be. And of course, yeah, it depends on the COVID, like you said, because that's kind of pulling us back. It's dragging. It could be a pain sometimes, but we got to keep moving. Definitely got to keep worshiping. I don't want it to be, and I think we've done well so far, where people come here and the constant conversation is COVID.
Right.
I think we've done well. We're still worshiping. We're still relaxed. So we're excited. And I think more of that, I'm kind of excited for August. You'll be able to be more open and comfortable later. That's my plans.
Right.
But, no, we are pretty excited. I think a lot of people are excited right now. So.
Yeah. The while we've been on COVID here at church, the staff have been trying to do creative things online to keep people connected. And I don't know if our listeners know that you have a page on the website now. There's a link on the homepage that people can use. It's called Cliff's Notes. And he has been writing a devotional and recording a piece of music to go with each devotional. I loved Chopin last week. I loved it.
That was actually an old recording.
Was it?
Yeah. I actually made a CD when I was 16, but it's not very good. But,
the whole recording, or just you think that
I think
piece
the
was
CD.
not?
Well, because I always recorded when I'd go to people's houses and then record music they wanted to hear, but then I was just improving.
Right.
And then eventually I just made a CD and just started giving to people, that didn't have a piano. But no, I've enjoyed doing the devotions. I think it opened up a whole new world. Kind of a little bit more edgy, seemingly edgy, but it wasn't very edgy because my premise is just having the listener think, make sense of what's going on, because a lot of weird things are going on that hasn't happened before, with the COVID and the government taking, making certain decisions, that hasn't happened in the past. Was it right? Is it wrong? Where does the Bible, stand on all this? And my only hope was taking what I'm thinking, or what I'm going through, or what I'm reading about, books and articles, and try to make it more relevant to today, to you now, people, the listeners now, the readers, and just encourage them to think, about racism, or about, the writing, what would a Christian do, what a Christian should do, or at least strive to do.
Right.
And I think those are tough subjects, but I think that's what's on people's mind, And through that, believe it or not, I'm not the best writer, It's the first time doing something like this. It's taken hours to do, but I've actually really enjoyed is the conversations that led up to afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And usually for next 3 or 4 days, I'll get emails and texts and phone calls, talking about the subject at hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it's opened a lot of doors to people, and a lot of good
conversation.
conversations.
Yep,
Yeah.
good.
So I'm really enjoying that.
Good.
I really enjoyed it. So.
Awesome. Well, do you have a life verse or a favorite Bible verse or Bible story?
I've in characters, I've been like this since I was young, but I've always liked superheroes, And I kind of, what gets to me are certain characters in the Bible where I kind of envision that character a superhero. Moses, I think Abraham, very strong figures. So when I look at them, I actually really enjoy Israel, coming out of Egypt, that story, and then them taking on Canaan. I think the story of all the battles almost seems like a movie, And to read that, and I love what Joshua said, as me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And I think it's almost like a spit in the, bad guy's face in a movie or something. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, we're still serving God. We're still here doing what we're going to do. You can't really stop that. So I think things like that motivate me on the inside, and I love reading those stories. And just seeing how hard they had it versus how we have it here, especially here in America.
Right.
But they actually had to fight for what they believed in.
Right.
Here we get upset if someone calls us a name. Back then you had to pick up a sword, you had to defend yourself.
Right.
And even New Testament, I find that with Jesus. I think that pumps me up with I think it was Luke 4, when Jesus actually stood up and spoke at a synagogue, And to me it was like a mic drop moment for him. It looked really, really cool. But Jesus can be pretty hardcore too, flipping tables and buying swords, talked about in the Bible. I think things like that motivate me, definitely,
So since you brought up superheroes,
Yes.
You have an akin or an affinity with Superman and with
Yeah.
Captain America.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, it's very interesting, and I'm not making this up. This, you can look this up. My family's name, I guess, on one of the wife's side, is actually Kent.
Oh,
The name Kent, and they started a farm in Kent, Ohio. I'm not making this up. It's dead
okay,
serious.
I believe you.
So they started a farm in Kent, Ohio, and it's just a Kent farm, and that's where my ancestors came from in the 1800s or so, late 1700s. And from that, if you actually go look online, Google it, you'll find like a Longcoy school, Longcoy this, Longcoy that,
Okay.
in Kent, Ohio. And it's surprising even the streets are named after, grandfathers or different relatives we've had in the past. I think that's what started. People picked on me when I was in middle school, high school for it, in a good way, not to be mean or anything. But then back then, I don't know if you heard about it. There's a show called Smallville.
Yes.
It was really big back when I was in middle school and high school, and I kind of looked like him a little bit. That was kind of the big thing, and I kind of clinged on to that. I liked how Superman, I mean the older one at least, the Superman was less controversial. He just always stood up for the right thing, back straight and kept charging forward. I enjoyed that aspect of him, kind of even related that to Christianity as much as possible. Even the new movie Man of Steel, I really enjoyed, because he always does the right thing,
Yep.
It should be that simple, I think.
Yep.
Keep striving to do the right thing. It's easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely.
Well, is there anything, a topic that I didn't know or think to ask that that you'd like to bring up or end with?
No, I keep. You asked me about hobbies.
Oh.
Yeah, and you'd probably be surprised. I think I actually like archery a lot. I've never decided that.
Did you say archery?
Archery,
Mhm.
yeah.
Bow and arrows.
Bow and arrows, and I've always loved doing that. And
Do you do it regularly?
yeah, I used to do more often since before pandemic, but maybe once or twice a month or so.
Oh,
I've done it for
wow.
years. And,
Mike and I
enjoy that.
went, that was one of our date night things. We went to an archery
Yeah,
place
ours
one
too.
time.
Yeah. And it's quiet. It's a lot quieter than guns, so it was I kind of liked it better than guns. But archery, and I enjoyed basketball growing up, and martial arts. Those are probably my two big things.
Sure.
I used to compete with those. I played basketball for USF one year.
Oh, no kidding.
That was different. I didn't like it that much, but it was definitely different.
Different kind of competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the whole atmosphere wasn't me. It's
Yeah.
more loud partying.
Yeah.
I would try to have a conversation with the guy next to me when we're traveling, but they don't really feel like talking. They just want to party, so I didn't fit in. But those are my big ones growing up. But yeah, I'm just enjoying life, I think.
Yeah.
Just keep busy.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Yeah.
thank you again for taking time out and joining us today, and we're looking
Thank you.
forward to the music that's to come this fall, and
yeah, thank you. Good things are happening, so
yeah.
everyone be excited.
All right. Thanks. Bye. I hope that you enjoyed that interview with Cliff. He really showed us a fun side to him that maybe not everyone knew was there. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I want to show you now what his page looks like on our website, and in how you'll see the devotionals there. Okay, so this is our church website, and when you scroll down, you'll see the icon here for Cliff's Notes, and you click on that, and then that pulls his page up. Now on here you'll see there are multiple entries, and each entry stands alone, and each has its own accompaniment. So you'll see right here there's a play button, so click play to hear the music and read the devotional, or close your eyes and just enjoy the music and read the devotional separately. Most of the songs are hymns. But I did particularly enjoy the Chopin that he put on last week. So I'm going to go ahead and let that play for a few seconds and then sign off. I hope you guys enjoyed the Fun Friday video today, and we'll see you next week.